ঠিক আছে।
Live stream started in YouTube.
For better audio experience, I will request everyone to please turn off your microphone. Program will about to start. Good afternoon, all the dignitaries, our principal ma'am, Professor Dr. Shutova Mukherjee, our former dean sir, Professor B.N. Chatterjee, our adjoint faculty, Professor T.K. Basu sir, all HODs of respective departments, and all the faculty members and research scholars of different premier institutes across the India. I, Oritra Ghosh, Assistant Professor of Department of Electrical Engineering, BPIMT, welcome you all in the second day session of International FDP on emerging trends in sensor security and smart automation system 2020. As we know, during pandemic condition, we stuck into our houses. But we have to remember one thing, that knowledge is power. Information is liberty. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. So through that FDP, we are sharing knowledge. Though it is a small droplet, but you may never know that it creates a big ocean someday. So that is our main FDP. That is the main motto of our FDP. So our today's topic is some aspect of smart utility. So without a further ado, I will request Ms. Chandrani Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical Engineering, to introduce our honorable speaker. Now, ma'am, you can start now.
Thank you, Oritra. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor and pleasure for me having the opportunity to introduce today's distinguished speaker, Mr. Debasis Gupta. He is a IIT Kanpur graduate of the batch 1976 in electrical engineering. Immediately after completing BTech, he joined industry. He is a power distribution veteran with over 44 years of experience in electrical power distribution, mostly at CSIS Limited, Kolkata, covering HV-EHV plants and equipment, engineering and specifications, O&M, distribution automation, smart grid, telecom and utilities, commercial and regulatory consultancy and training. He currently mentors and advises practicing electrical engineers in utilities and industries, as well as is working on a technology blog where he posts practical and useful information for such engineers on a regular basis. Mr. Gupta is also an adjunct fellow with Center for Strategic and International Studies, a leading global think tank where his opinions on technology and policy are regularly sought. Today he is going to deliver a lecture on some aspects of smart utilities with focus on IT/OT integration, smart meters, self-healing networks, demand response, etc. Now I would like to request Sir Debasis Gupta to start his presentation. Please, sir.
Sir, you can present now. So before presenting, I will request everyone to please turn off your camera. Please turn off your microphone as well as please turn off your camera for better experience. You can present now. So, microphone, sir.
Sir, unmute.
Sir, please unmute your request everyone to put off your camera, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can you get the presentation running 1 second? Just a second, please. Can you speak, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's absolutely fine, sir.
Great. So, should I start or?
Yes, sir. You can start now, sir.
So, we have eminent faculty from the various certain engineering colleges here, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
Yes.
a warm welcome to everybody. My name is Debasis Gupta. I have retired from service. I was an engineer mainly in CSIS, and I do various types of other technical oriented work now. And today's talk, I was asked to give a talk by Dr. Ming. It's a pleasure that get an opportunity to share orders get the smart okay. I'm not an academician. Basically, I did my engineering from IIT Kanpur way back in '76, and then ultimately spent most of my time in CSP, and I enjoyed every moment of it. And the facility which the company gave me was to work across the entire array of power systems in distribution, whether it's normal plant and equipment, power grids, O&M, regulatory, commercial, and then fully into automation, IT/OT integration, and these areas. So, thanks to my company and to my colleagues, it was a great opportunity which was afforded to me. Now, I understand that this is organized by people of the Institute of Management and Technology, and it's a faculty development program. I hope you get some inputs from a practicing engineer's point of view. And if there are any questions at any point, please stop me, or you can you can ask in the end also. Now, before I start, I'm not going to spend much time, but we're talking about power, electrical power distribution or generation also. So, if you talk about electrical power, you know the global context. All of you are fully aware of it. The urgent necessity to make it smart, particularly because, say, as a nation with some 360-370 gigawatts of power installed, more than 1500 BU, almost 5% of the world's generation, it's very important that our losses figures. So 1/4 of power for it goes to waste. and even the about visibility angle, from the losses angle, it is essential to bring in as much smartness as possible, put in less of human intervention in areas particularly where there are chances of human intervention actually being counterproductive, and there are cases. Now, having said all this, I would still say that we have some of the finest talent in India and a very good academic and industry connect, and I'm sure such talks like this or I worked in CSC, we had so many meetings across the world with universities, faculty, and it was a continuous handshaking process. Many projects were outsourced. We had the finest brains in universities helping us to understand subjects. So let me start away. You can hear me, right? You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can.
Okay. So today, as you know, the smart grid or automation, smart utilities, it's a very large area. Normally, when I give talks of this sort, it's easy to students, not to faculty so much, and it covers a number of days. But today, I talked to Dr. Sanyal, and I said we'd speak on maybe 5 or 6 items. So these are listed here. I'll focus on self-healing networks, talk a bit about telecom for utilities, and also standards. I haven't mentioned that because engineer advice, you are the to make the standard, right? But we are the users who have to use engineers in not only utilities, it's also across industries, process industries, steel, paper, cement. The massive amount of purchases made every year, it's mind-boggling. Just to give you an example, a typical utility in India, say Discom, there are about 54 Discoms, and there'll be so many Transcos also. There'll be many more Gencos. So you're talking about 150, 200 entities. Now you add another 300 industries to this. So you're talking about say 400 to 500 large-scale buyers of electrical products and services, spanning across switchgear, transformers, metering, cables, joint intakes, laminations, to automation, SCADA, DMS, ERPs, the entire gamut, smart metering. So for a practicing engineer today, when I passed out since way back in the 70s, entire day maybe would spend with 1 or 2 topics, work on 1 or 2 subjects. But I pity today's engineers. You are all training them, you are making them younger and from academics. Bridging this gap between the industry and academia, in particularly imparting training on standards and writing proper specifications. I've seen specifications which are written which are 10 years old. Vendors are all willing to teach you, no doubt. But vendors have got their own interest also. It has to be above board, it has to be totally neutral. There have to be model RFPs, which the government is doing in many cases. I would still say 95% cases is missing. Anyway, having said all that, Debaran?
Basudeb Mondal is not everything is free.
I couldn't make a card.
No, Basudeb Mondal is not is free.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Should I continue? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I've also numbered this. I have numbered the slides also, so you get an idea. the slides, you get an idea. There are some 35 active slides, and we're in the third slide right now. And I'll try and keep my timing. I was told about maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So you look at the power network. Now, if I look at the power network, let me put the data on. So this is a typical power electrical utility, and why I'm starting with this is because we'll be talking about all these elements and the automation thereof. So you have your GenCos, you have your, like, if utility may have its own generation, it is vertically integrated. It may buy power from a separate GenCo like here. Right? There are transmission towers and lines.
Lights are not visible, sir.
What is not visible?
Lights.
What?
Sir, the slides are not visible, sir. You can present now, sir.
Now it's visible?
You can go for present now, sir.
No, but it's already, shall I stop sharing and again start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Or if the slide is visible. I think you have a network connection issue. Slide is already visible. Sir, you can carry on.
Okay. Can you see again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you have a distribution network or generation combined network where the utility will have its own generation, may or may not have. It will power by power from the GenCo or through power exchanges. Right? You will also import power through maybe bilateral trading. You can do power banking also. So these are all different topics from, require separate times. And then you have these substations which step down from EHV like 130 kV and 220 kV down to 30 kV. 30 kV. Okay? Now from 30 kV bus, you typically have certain switchgear and then which feed maybe a few industries at 30 kV. In Calcutta, I think we have got several dozens of industries. In fact, there are also industries like railways which are at 130 kV, consumers at 132 kV. And then you have an upper scenario which is true throughout India. Then you have a distribution station. Before that, you have the substation, I told you. Substations are typically, maybe 200 MVA, 220 MVA, 250 MVA, 300 MVA size. And then you have distribution stations which are 33 kV to typically 11 kV in 90% cases, 99% cases. Only in CSC we also have 86 kV, which is a legacy British handover. Having said that, these stations are typically say 40 MVA, 20 MVA, 60 MVA stations. Now after this, you have what has been put in the last 5-6 years by most utilities in India today is what is called RMU, ring main units. Now these are very, very flexible 11 kV, I'm talking about 11 kV, very, very flexible switchgear, specific field switchgear. They can have either breakers or isolators, and they are put at strategic locations throughout the city so that in case of a fault, you can isolate easily and you can rather see where the fault is. Then you can isolate the faulty section and then you can restore from some other parallel ring main of the section. I'll come to the automation of this, which is very, very important, and I tell you in today's post-COVID world, this would be the single most important activity in my opinion, personal opinion, and I think a lot of people agree on this. Okay, I'm part of a think tank also where we have advocated this. Then after the, so these are basically like switches, high voltage switches. And after that you have your DTs. Or before that, at 11 kV or 6 kV, you have your 11 kV and 6 kV loads. They may be large commercial malls, they may be factories. Okay, malls like this, factories like this. Then say around 60% or so power is in the, or you can say roughly it's about half of 60-40 is in the LT domain and in the HT domain. Now to come to the LT domain, you have transformers, and after distribution transformers, as you all know, you have the LT buses which go to your complexes and small factories and whatnot. Just as an aside, if we are talking to an August gathering here, look at this picture here. See? This picture here looks as if it was taken 20 years back in Dalhousie. But this was taken more than 100 years back. When King George V and Queen Mary had come to Calcutta. So you can imagine, power came to Calcutta in 1897, one of the first in India. And see how much progress they had made by 1912. And being an ex-CSC man, I always take pride in showing some unique historical features. Like, for example, this is a tunnel underneath the Ganges. Okay, it was built in 1935, still working merrily, carrying UHC cables. You can go down and work there actually. And on the right hand side, we have the power coming from Haldia, crossing the Hooghly on India's tallest transmission towers, 236 meters height. This is again a unique feat in India. So now, what I talked about so far was the conventional model, which you all know. You have generation, then transmission, then distribution. And as you also all know, now you are talking about distributed resources. You're talking about two-way power flow. You're talking about renewables, solar, wind, right? You're talking about microgrids, microturbines, fuel cells. So now it's more complex, and the control center of today has to be also matched accordingly. And then you have smart homes also, not only smart meters, you have got electric vehicles coming in a big way. You have charging mechanisms, both for superchargers and for DC and AC level chargers, level 1, level 2, level 3. And these will come in a big way. For example, the housing complex I live in, attend here, I tell them, look, now it's high time we have to think of 3 or 4 parking spaces for charging these vehicles. Okay. So microgrids, again, you all must be teaching it, so I won't go into it. There are AC microgrids, DC microgrids, hybrid microgrids, and I think about a year back we had around almost 2000 kilowatt peak power of microgrids, solar microgrids. And as you know, Tata Power is now all set to build 10,000 microgrids across India. And today again, post-COVID, with so many containment zones, you can't travel from this place to that place. You can only bypass this place. Microgrids are going to make more and more sense. More and more sense. India started like this, the world started like this. We had distributed distribution companies, distributed generation, small generation. Then we went on to economies of scale. And now the wheel is again turning. We're going back to distribution, distributed systems. And the IT, OT, control centers, they have to integrate all these aspects. Now, if I look at the major equipment in a typical utility, I'm not talking about generation, I'm talking about distribution. You have transmission towers, large substations, maybe GIS, maybe AIS, outdoor yards, they are giving way to more of indoor GIS, transformers, power transformers, distribution transformers, like here, switchgear, HDA, and then down to metering. Now, if you look at controlling and monitoring these equipment from a control center, essentially you will have SCADA, AMS, DMS systems controlling or seeing all these aspects, right? The ones in the blue box. And there, because you are using protocols like IEC 104, which are very tight, right? It can't be on best effort basis. When you want to make a switch on a breaker, it has to switch on within 2 seconds, finish, or how to say, or 1 second, as you specify. So there, the general tendency is to use MPLS networks. In Calcutta, mainly fiber optics is used, also in parts of Delhi, in other metros also. And some telcos are offering you dedicated bandwidth and dedicated lines on MPLS, which are working across India. When you come to, now these are in hundreds, maybe all these. Now when you come to ring main units like this, or distribution transformers, or meters, these are in millions. So how do you do AMI on meters? What is the communication protocol? So these have to be generally wireless. You can't have it wireline so easily. Though we are doing it wireline, again I'll explain why, what the problems are for things like RMUs and DTs, right? But slowly, I know the picture across India at least, and even parts of the world, everybody is facing similar problems. So, okay, I'll come to that later. Then we come to meters also, I'll talk about that. Before I leave power side, a lot of smart things, we all tend to think that smart things, automation is all about, information technology, computer science. Of course it's true. And I'm glad, and I heard from Dr. Sanyal that the people who are in the audience today are with different backgrounds, electrical, electronics, computer science, and that is a burning necessity. Engineering working in an industry today, honestly, 45 years back, in one substation we had hardly 10 transistors. Today there must be at least 5,000 microprocessors in the same substation. So can you imagine the scale at which things have gone up? So the young boys who are, say, electrical graduates, the typical mindset is take electrical guys for utility. Why? You must take as many electronic people, as many computer people. Otherwise you cannot get these smart things done. It has to be a teamwork. Even on the power front, let's say today's modern power transformers, they have got so much electronics inside them. For example, in this transformer here, this is actually a rendering we had drawn when I was in planning in CSIS. This is a 160 MVA transformer. Just to give you an idea, the conventional method of measuring oil temperature or winding temperature was to do a modeling. You would put a separate cup with oil inside and then make a heater coil which would model the winding thermally. You model it, and by measuring the temperature right there.
Sir, excuse me. Please, all of you, turn off your videos, please. Focus on control.
Point here. Kinds which have come up. Like you can measure the temperature of the winding directly using gallium arsenide sensors. Okay, and then coming up through optical fiber chip. Depending on the temperature, the polarization of the light going into the fiber optic line, that is rotating, changing. And if you are measuring the angular rotation, you can get the temperature. Just like you have optical CTs. So these are the things where you have to have a lot of electronics, a lot of knowledge in power, and of course you have to have the computing power also. This picture is actually a cutaway picture of a physical station in New Kashipur, and you can see how things have progressed from what was there 40 years, 30 years, 50 years, even 10 years back. Now in a compact substation you have got 220 kV, 132 kV, 30 kV, massive control center, cable spreader room, whatnot. Again, before I come out of power, there's another smart thing being done. Okay. Again, some amount of automation is also involved. One is that land is a constraint now. Okay. To today if Calcutta has got 2000 megawatt of maximum demand and say very pessimistic 5% growth, or actually some almost around 7% growth, 8% growth. So in 12 years time you will require double the capacity, which means double the land for substation. So where do you get the land from? We haven't got land, and neither have other utilities. And the cost of land is going up, shooting up like anything. So you have to do more with less. So in the same land, can you double your capacity of switchgear and transformers? And the answer is yes, you can. For example, if you put in gas insulated substation, that just occupies 20% of the space taken by air insulated outdoor yards. That we all know. But what many of us, even I didn't know this, I just discovered it 2 years back, and in CSC, that is transformers also, you know. You can see this radiator bank. You can virtually dispense with this. Now you have what is called unit cooling. Just like in a car radiator, you have fins and very high speed fans. Okay, so these transformers are now available, and in the size or the footprint of a say 75 MVA transformer, you can easily fit in a 100 MVA transformer. Again, there's a lot of electronics also behind all this, because you have to ensure that the auxiliary powers don't go. If the fan goes off, there's no such thing as natural cooling here. Okay, it's always forced cooling. And then you can also go on to things like underground substations, which we have done one in Calcutta, but there is plenty of scope there. Okay, now I'll come to my first major topic, that is, let's talk about self-healing using ring main units. So what is a ring main unit? Again, I'm sorry, I'm sure all of you know, but don't mind if I just repeat it once again. That is essentially this is the picture of a ring main unit. Okay, you can see there are something like 4,000 of these throughout our city in Calcutta itself, and across India right now the figure is more than 1.2 lakhs, and this is going to, it should become 10 times in another 4 years, 3 years. It has to. Now what does it have inside this? This is SF6 field cubicle. It has got a bus bar, say 11 kV bus bar, but it is also for 30 kV also. And then you have got 3 feeders coming out, or sometimes 4 feeders coming out. So it's called 3-way or 4-way. And the main element in each of these legs, these are called legs, is either a circuit breaker or an isolator. Most cities in India are using circuit breakers because they are being able to place these boxes or these nipples, these small RMUs, inside buildings. In Calcutta, there is a dearth of space. So we had to place all this on the roads. Now on the roads, if you use a circuit breaker, you use very fragile relays, protective relays. Now that became a big problem. All the rain and the moisture, and it became a maintenance issue. So we decided, okay, let us use normal isolator, load break, fault make. Okay, so you can easily break the thing on load, and even if you switch back on a fault, the upstream breaker will kick. And these are so useful. Before these RMUs came in, it used to take us means I'm talking about again with my CSC gap one. Almost 4 hours to restore a 11 kV line. With this RMUs, it has come down to less than 1 hour. And with automation, it has come down to less than 2 minutes. So I'll just come to that. So let's talk about the isolators or breakers, whatever you have. If these are isolators and you want to do remote control, remote switching on, switching off, you have to attach a motor. And through a RTU, remote terminal unit, or an FRTU. Normally it's an FRTU. It's called FRTU, means a feeder RTU. It's a small RTU with maybe a few dozen IOs, analog inputs, digital outputs, And you can control these motors, and you can actually switch on, switch off from remote. And another very important aspect of the RMUs is that each of these has got what is called an FPI, a fault passage indicator. This is basically taken from the CT, current transformer. And if the current is programmed, it's an electronic device. If the current crosses a certain amount of time, a certain value for a certain amount of time, a flag here falls. And you can enable it so that it's shown remotely also through communicable FPIs. Or if you want, engineers actually go down, just open the door and see as the FPI works, means the fault is beyond that. If the FPI has not worked, the fault is before that. Now, again, just as an aside, I feel very sad that we are buying, not only we, across India, see, if there are more than 1.2 lakhs RMUs, there will be more than 4 lakh FPIs in the market. That is inside RMU. Then you have got FPIs on the LT lines, AC lines. So it's a huge market. But not one is made in India. They're all imported. Why? I mean, there's no rocket science in making it. I mean, frankly, we had an electronics lab in CSC. We made some of these things. I mean, I'm sure, young people working under you, and particularly those who are doing MTech, and, they can make these projects. And then, to the FPIs and all, for using this, you require a small FRTU. And then for that, you require a power also. Now, this power is 11 kV, you can't use it for powering all this stuff. So you require normally a small battery and a charger and a local LT supply. And this is how the RMU looks from if you open the door, it looks from the inside like this. So you can switch on, switch off, and see the FPI. You can see the FPI here. Now let me explain to you, how the RMU helps to self-heal. Why it's called self-healing, you will see in a moment now. Consider 4 RMUs, RMU 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. And suppose the left hand RMU is fed from a feeder coming from a station A. Or it's coming from a one station also, on two sides of one section. So you have got one feeder A, and similarly this side is fed by feeder B. If you look at feeder A, it's feeding this RMU, and then this leg is feeding a DT, distribution transformer. This leg is going to the next RMU. This leg is feeding maybe a mall, and then this leg is feeding another RMU. And here the blue line means we have intentionally cut it there, isolated, because you can't have two feeders connected continuously. It will act like a bus section. You have to disconnect somewhere. So we have disconnected it here. Now if you look from the right hand side, the feeder B is feeding through RMU 4, maybe a neighborhood, houses, and then through RMU 3 it feeds this factory maybe. Simple case. Now suppose there is and then each of these legs have got this fault passage indicator, these grey ones. So none are operated because there is no fault. The system is healthy. Now let's assume that there is a fault in this section. So what happens? Fault has occurred. So once this fault has occurred, in our case in CSC we don't have breakers. So naturally the upstream breaker here has to fit. But if you go to Delhi or Bombay, the breaker here would have fit. But coming back to Calcutta, this breaker has fit here. So this entire line is dead up to here, right? This side remains live. So the supply to this factory and to these houses have gone. Now, how does an engineer know from remote if it is automated, or when they physically go, where is the fault? All they do is go and look at the FPI. You can see, because the fault current is being fed from here, so the path is like this, here. So this FPI will operate, this will operate, this won't operate. And similarly, these won't operate because the fault is kept on this side. So normally we look at a section where one side the API is operated, the other side it is not operated. It means that this is the unhealthy or faulty section. Now, if it is a manual case, which 90% of RMUs today are, like in Calcutta, there are some 5,000 RMUs, of which around 500 have been automated. Automated means 2 minutes restoration, within 2 minutes. That is mainly for water drainage stations, water pumping stations, crematoriums, some VIP buildings. So now what will happen? How do you isolate and restore? So what you will do here is, let's see what we will do here. Essentially, we have to isolate this line because it will take some time to repair this point. So I have to basically switch this on, but before switching this on, we have to cut this and cut this, these two legs. So this will become dead, and then switch this on. So you can see here, you now cut this, you have cut this, so this remains dead. Now we restore power to this house from here by sitting on the breaker here, and because we have also switched on this, this factory is also now fed from this side. Now these are all part of automation, and if you do it automatically, means through a SCADA system or through it's called pleaser in some cases, it's called fault location, isolation, it's locating the fault here, it's isolating the fault location, isolation and system restoration. And this I tell you that particularly in the post-COVID scenario, today when there is a fault somewhere outside, engineers, no matter what permit and what things is shown, police won't allow them to come out. So such remote operation can really restore and bring in self-healing. And self-healing is not constrained to only RMUs. You can have even self-healing in higher level stations also, but we will not cover it today. Am I audible and clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now, how to automate these RMUs? Essentially, we need to know whether they are on or off, what is the current or voltage, and then we also need to use a digital output to control the motor or the breaker. So for that, we have a small microprocessor unit, a microcontroller unit. They come now. There are so many available in the market. You can even I think you can almost possibly get them even in Amazon. But the good ones, and I've seen in some of the engineering colleges in the exhibition, young boys and girls are doing fantastic job using Raspberry Pi and such other microcontrollers. Okay, as you know, they're doing fantastic job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm sure that in India we have got the brains, we have got the energy, we have got the youth to take all this forward. And so you have the modules. You can have, I told you, many varieties of modules. They can be in a 19-inch rack, they can be in a 6-inch rack, they can be even in a small, very small microcontroller. And then you have a router. And then after that, the main thing is the communication protocol. You see, here I would say is the weakest point that we are facing right now. Not only in India, this is throughout the world. Because the issue is just like big pharma. Pfizer says you buy my medicine and, Mark says you buy my medicine. Similarly here also, Siemens will, and don't mind my names, or they're all great names. But what I'm trying to say is that, they will say, no, you use our proprietary protocol. Don't go in for the standards. It will be much faster. We mustn't fall in that trap. We must stick to standards. So the IC, actually it's 62870, I think, -5-104. It's called in short IC 104. You all may be knowing it much more. I did a lot of study on this because in all our automation for SCADA, for RTUs, RMUs, they require this IC 104 protocol. The Americans use a protocol called DNP3. DNP3, if you ask me, I think is slightly better than IC104. Again, from a user's perspective, I don't have the academic knowledge. But in Bangalore, RMU project, in Bangalore city, they are using DNP3. So everybody is waiting to see how the results there come out. But in throughout India, IC104 is the standard. The IC104 is good and bad. Why is good? It assures you absolutely deterministic times by which you can get an operation done. See, if a breaker trips here, if it comes after 5 seconds, heavens won't fall. No problem. If there is a load showing 100 ampere, if I come to know after 10 seconds also, heavens won't fall. But if I switch off something and tell a person you can work at the line and switch off, then heavens will fall. So particularly for digital outputs and controlling, you cannot use best effort basis communication. Internet and such, packet-based switching are really yet, if you ask me, I'm talking again as a practicing engineer, I don't have that much knowledge. What I've seen is with 4G, we are getting reasonably good results. But unfortunately, just to give you an example, the main units in Calcutta, we have automated around 500, of which almost 490 have to be done by taking the fiber to the last mile. Because no wireless work. 2.5G, we started to work with 3G, and then we have done 10 on 4G. I was talking to my colleagues in Delhi, in Bombay, similar experience. They use APLS because they don't have their own fiber, or now they are seeing 4G reasonably working, and of course if 5G comes in, we hope to see a big change. So the timeout requirements, you have got, basically if you go into the 104 protocol details, you find there are some 3 very important critical timeouts. It's a connection-oriented service, and then once the timeouts occur, then you had it. I mean, that particular communication phase. Everything here, interoperability issues. You see, again, this is the biggest minus point in standards. People will say, yes, I see one of a compatible. You can buy my RTU, you can buy my FRTU, you can use it for your SCADA, and when you buy it and you link it, you find it doesn't work. Why? Because in all goodness, the IEEEs of the world and ICs of the world, they have allowed a lot of flexibility. Like I'll just give you an example. There is a 56-page document within the IEC 104 which gives you the flexibility of vendor X, Y, Z all conforming to IEC 104 yet deviating a bit. One example. For example, how to address a device. Sorry, a part keyboard. So when you address a device as an address, now that address can be hierarchical address, it can be a flat address. So say company X only goes by hierarchical. Company Y only goes by flat system. IEC 104 allows both. So as a user, you see, after all my grey hair, I have come to learn all this. But just look at our poor young engineers who are buying thousands of crores worth of equipment. This must be specified very clearly that this is my address structure that I want. And not only address structure, there are 40 other things you have to ensure, and it's not rocket science. IC has given you all the questionnaire, all the documents we filled in. You have to, frankly, I'll tell you as a joke. We once did it. We put all these interoperability parameters, bring all you come. This is a picture of
Sir, again you present now some technical failures happen. Sir, again you have to present now, sir.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
request everyone, please don't follow that particular button present now while the speaker is presenting. I'll request everyone.
Can you see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the last slide you were able to see, I hope?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is some photographs of some wingman unit, like this is outside writers building. The one on one thing. Sorry. This is outside writers building. So you can see there's the RMU, and then there's a separate box you need to put the FRCUs and the battery and everything. And then all these RMUs are connected to an optical unit, and through the optical unit you get the optical fiber. Okay. Can you see? I'll give you a very quick idea of again what we deal with in utilities as regarding telecom. Because telecom for utilities is a specialized subject by itself. And unfortunately, utilities don't have the people with the right knowledge. We are all electrical engineers, frankly, most of us. Okay. We have to depend a lot on the electronic engineers and the telcos, service providers. Okay. But then, we learn along the way. The scenario needs to change in India, frankly. I mean, you have to have teams which have got good representation from all sides and work together. Anyway, to give you an idea for typical utilities across India, and why again India across the world is like this. If I come to fiber optic networks, we all need fiber optics. Now, for utilities, the advantage, say, as different from Airtel or Jio, is that for utilities, we lay the fiber optics along with the power cables. So, what's the advantage? That if I dig the road for laying a power cable, I take that opportunity to put in a fiber optic cable. And the restoration cost also is becoming common. A power cable costs 5 crores per kilometer. That's the cost of power cable. I mean, ESP power cable. A fiber optic cable costs half a lakh per kilometer. You can see the huge difference in pricing. And the costing of just digging a road and restoring it only for fiber optics. In the Kolkata Municipality Corporation area, it is the cheapest in India. It costs about 75,000 rupees per kilometer, which is more than the cost of the cable. That's why many just hurry up laying these fiber optic cables, and we piggyback on Airtel or Jio. But then what happens? Those are shared networks, and it's a bit risky in my opinion. Okay, and the fibers, as you all know, there are 1310 is normal standard single mode. Some are 1550. I'm sorry, 1550. We also use optical ground wire. OPGW is used on transmission lines, like from Bhojboj or from Haldia. Okay, so the earth wire has got built-in fiber. Now this is the physical layer, the fiber optic cable. What is the telecommunication network on this? Normally, there are two ways of looking at it, or two standard solutions which are used by utilities. One is what is called the SDH network. Those who are in this line you know. Synchronous digital hierarchy network. Earlier you had the PDH network. When I was young, we worked on the PDH networks. Asynchronous digital hierarchy. Now it's all SDH. And people can use from, synchronous transport modules, STM4 up to 64, even STM12 are available. So normally our standard for utilities STM4 is good enough. It gives you 622 megabits per second, and you can use this for, the beauty of SDH is very, very tight. It is deterministic. Okay. When any operation or any, like if I send a signal from point X to point Y, I can tell you precisely how many microseconds it will take or how many milliseconds it will take. This is not the case in packet switching. all the advances in packet switching, it has got its beauty, it has got its fantastic flexibility. Packets can be moved from any way, even if one line is damaged, it can move around. That you all know, right? You now have your multi-protocol table switching, MPLS. We also have these in our utilities. So do Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Jaipur. All cities have it now. There are core networks, distribution, edge, security. So all these are part of the game. These are sold by all multinational companies. But if you ask me what is the essential difference? Essential difference is that packet switching is very good for normal, best effort-based communications. Okay, like if I want to do something on IoT, okay, I want to use this as a backbone. Even for smart meters, I can use this as a backbone. But there is no criticality in this. But let me give you an example of the criticality. Suppose you all know bird watch. Now suppose 1 250 megawatt generator suddenly comes out in bird watch. What will happen? Generation and load mismatch. Bird watch is 100 kilometers away. Frequency will start falling. And then very soon you find entire Calcutta and upstream Bengal shipping. So how do you avoid that? So the moment the bird watch trips, the standard way which most of the country follows is you put under frequency details, and the moment the TF by GT or the actual frequency falls to a certain value, you trip. But in Calcutta what we are doing is we are using SDH. So the moment the signal comes, the bird watch is tripped, comes to SDH, and within maybe at most 75 milliseconds, matching load is stripped across Calcutta. Not in one place, in different places. Now, had we done this on packet switching, this could have taken 300 milliseconds. Could have. You don't know. And as you know, the EHC system, the stability time for the EHC network, typically of the size that we have in cities like Calcutta, is around 200 milliseconds. So anything going beyond 200 milliseconds will result in cascade tripping. Therefore, this is one example of SDH. But incidentally, both SDH and packet switch is used for both voice and data. If you have it, why not use the voice? Why pay BSNL separately? Okay. And the third aspect of fiber is widely used is data protection. You have these numerical relays, line differential, distance relays. They all use fiber point to point for skipping and interskipping and for defining those zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, which skip is not skip. Typical picture of, again, all cities have such, most cities have this. You have to have a network management system, okay, which will show you physically where all the endpoints are, routers are, fiber switches are, which are the ones that are faulty in red, which are the ones that are okay, and they are all in redundant networks. Okay. Now, just to give you another small aside, that 75% of this is underground, but 25% has to be overhead, because there is no, there is no power cable to be laid. You can't spend that much money to pay. So you put it on poles. Now when an Amphan comes, so it happens recently. Forget power cables. Fiber optics go for a cross posting. Overhead lines. Underground are okay. So to that extent, we need to have 4G and 5G as fast as possible. 4G is there. Improve 4G. And of course 5G coming in. So that you are independent of cyclones and storms. Similarly, in wireless technologies, which are used for automation, just you can have a glance, you all know again much more about all this. Cellular, you have the standard 3G, 4G, now 5G coming up. And then you have all these other systems like, Wi-Fi, then your 4G, the long-term evolution, HSPA, WiMAX, Bluetooth. trying now LoRa also in some places in the company. In Delhi also they're trying it. RF mesh is a big deal for us. RF mesh is the only success story in smart meters. I'll come to that subsequently. Zigbee, Z-Bus, these are again very good for home automation. And okay, NB-IoT. NB-IoT is not as good as RF mesh, but NB-IoT, Narrowband IoT, is used widely for water meters, gas meters, and then general, IoT devices, particularly IoT which are used through popular MQTT platform, message queuing, telemetry transport system, where you have publishing, subscribing, and a broker. You all know about all this, but just incidentally, very interesting. We have a lot of very entrepreneurial people in India. So now you are very earlier, say 1 year back, 1.5 years back, you have to go to some cloud and get a broker. Now you find into the cloud, but you find that the brokers are now available even in Calcutta. There are 2 brokers. Okay, and these are very lightweight, publish subscribe systems. NB-IoT is okay for about say 100-150 bytes of data each chunk. That's okay for small meters like I told you, water, smart meter, your gas meters, and of course many other things like smart wearables and all those. But when it comes to smart electric meters, there are some 50-60 parameters, no? Active power, reactive power, energy, multiple quadrants, time of day. So all that total package which are used, they are defining what is called TLMS cosine. I'll come to that also. That size is too big for NB-IoT so far. NB-IoT is on the edge on that. Maybe another year or so NB-IoT will enhance to cover the bandwidth needed for smart electric meters. What I talked a bit about. 5G, frankly, if you ask me, we are going to use it mainly because of the low latency. We hope to use it. I mean, we means next generation of engineers. But if you look at it and you all know it, no, it's really meant for cases where there is immediate response. I mean, there is no latency at all. For example, driverless cars. And driverless cars with all those sensors, and there's something coming down on towards you, you have to turn. You can't wait for latency and then let the crash occur. Similarly, when you talk about a surgeon doing a remote operation, he's cutting open something and then the skull, and he's putting his knife in. If there is a delay there, you had it. So I think 5G would be very good for such things. And now in today's world, as you can see, what many countries are doing, as crowds are moving, you are doing spot surveillance of faces, an immediate recognition, an immediate alerting of the police nearby if you suspect any case, for whatever reason. Dr. Kanyan, am I on time?
Yes, sir. Ma'am.
Can I continue at this speed? I am about halfway through.
Yes, sir.
Shall I cut down?
Yes, sir.
I can continue?
Yes, sir.
You can continue, but I will suggest if we have a short question answer session now, and then you continue with your slides, because all your slides are so informative. After you finish them, the people will forget about the first what to ask.
I'll send you the slides in any case for your discussion, but it should be distributed only to the participants, not for white.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But should we have a short question answer session now? If they have any question?
Absolutely, I'm okay with everything.
Okay. So, auditor?
Yes, all the participants, I will request everyone, if you have any doubts, any question, you can ask. You can use your chat box, or you can just unmute yourself. Just for a bit of second, you can unmute yourself and you can place your question. Okay, but one by one, you have to unmute yourself and then place a question. Am I audible to everyone? So if I am audible, then you have to put your question. Sir, one question is coming. That is, what are the challenges of automation?
Challenges of automation. Okay. Challenge to everything. The first thing is always money. Right? I'm not joking. I mean, if something has to be cut in a budget, the first thing that is cut is automation. That is the unfortunate truth in life. Okay. So, for all the technocrats here, it's our holy and Muslim duty to ensure that management gets the message very clearly. And for that, I would sometimes think that these webinars and all can also be held and held by respected people like you all, wherein you invite some of the top management people also and give them an overview of the processes, so they also get on board. That's number one. Number two is telecom and standards both. These are the real challenges. I talked about telecom. I talked about 1.2 lakh RMUs. Okay. Unfortunately, not more than 10% are automated. It's mainly because of telecom issues. I've seen in Rajasthan, you feel like crying. You find batteries there inside, all the sulfur coming out, sulfuric acid all over the place. It's a horrible situation. Why? The telecom, the cell phone doesn't work. Forget about automation. And then standards. Standards are very good. But when you come to standards, one has to be very, very careful about how you are putting up your technical specification. Because vendors will take the slightest opportunity to click by. But you have to be very, very careful. I can name 100 cases where things have been purchased and collecting dust. Why? They refuse to talk to each other. Let's take a simple case. You buy one SCADA control center, but you buy maybe 500 RTUs. Now, when you buy the RTUs, remote terminal units, you don't buy them from one company, you buy them from 10 different companies. They all say, yes, sir, we are one of our compatible. And then you find that maybe 20% are not compatible. When the engineers come, they will change the firmware, there will be a lot of R&D. And in the process, what happens is that maybe some other RTU vendor will also try and help this guy. So he will also change his firmware. End result is that you are left with, if there are 500 RTUs and from 5 companies, you should have 5 firmware. That's all. Finish. Or 5 pendants, I should have a backup. But you have 50 pen drives. Practically.
Mona Lisa Das, you can turn off your video. Turn on your video. Mona Lisa Das. Auditro?
Mona Lisa Das, the questions are coming, sir. That is, how can we identify the test cases which are suitable for automation? That is a question asked by Mona Lisa Das.
Test cases for what purpose? Can I just ask? What is the purpose?
Mona Lisa ma'am, if you are here, you can ask directly the question, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how can you identify the test cases which are suitable for automation?
Okay, let me try and answer it in a different way. Maybe it might help you. Like suppose you are putting in smart meters. Now in smart meters, broadly, there are many finer decisions. But broadly, there are 2 communication channels by which you can do it. Okay. One is using wires and using the public, your power line carrier, PLC. And the other is using wireless. That can be either cellular or RF mesh or whatever it is. see across the world, some countries like say NL in Italy, Spain, Singapore, they are very happy with PLC, power line communication. It's cheaper also. Okay, you can use the same wire coming into your house. You can put a smart meter, and through that protocols like your Prime or T3 PLC, right? You know about these protocols. So using Prime or T3, you can communicate. Other option is you decide to go for wireless, whether it's RSMS or cellular, etc. Now, your question was, how do you identify a test case? This is a test case. When any utility first starts off, you have to explore the lower cost thing first. So naturally, you will first want to try the PLCC method. Now, in our case, I'll just give you an example. We tried the PLCC, but what we found was that you have to tweak it and tune it almost every second day. Because the network is in such a bad shape, not because of PSC, throughout India. Okay, you look at any line outside and try and solve, as they say, 7 and 7 or types of law on that. You go mad. So all these open ends and all, you have deflecting waves. Okay, and then so many funny things happen that the PLCC just didn't work. The throughput was less than 25%. Now that was the test case. But in all honesty, though we knew in the back of our mind that is the result, we had to do it as professional engineers. So it's recorded that okay, this particular technology is not working. Similarly, when you come to say cellular or to LoRa or to wireless like RF mesh, you should try everything. You should try different frequencies. Okay, companies and vendors offering you different products. Like Trident is offering you the 5 gigahertz range. Okay, some are offering you in the ISM band, 2.4 gigahertz. Now we try all. Any given time, most companies I know, they try 50, 60 pilots. Now, while doing the pilot, you have to then record very meticulously for your area and see what the results are. And then you come to a concerted decision, you know, this is my result and I should go for this technology. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
And after Dr. Sonali Vishwas's question, we will again go to the presentation. Okay, Arifta?
okay, but I have one more question. Okay, Dr. Sonali Vishwas asked about what are the major issues with smart or intelligent automations?
I think I answered some of them a bit earlier, but to continue on that, just now I'll talk about standards. I will see what are the issues coming in terms of interoperability. Okay, that is the biggest challenge, telecom and standards. Otherwise, if you use proprietary protocol and if you are willing to put all your money in one vendor or one basket, no problem. You buy one control center, you buy 500 RTUs from one company, it will work smoothly. But can you do it? Practically, you can't do it. Similarly, can you buy one head-end system or a meter data management system from say Siemens or say from Itron, and then you have got say 40 million consumers, or not 40, 4 million consumers. Now, 4 million consumers are going to use Itron meters. You can't do it practically. Not only for the money aspect, also for the rollout. You have to give orders in parallel. So when you do that, the interoperability comes. And this is a huge challenge. Huge challenge. Most of the pre-qualification clauses in any RFP should have, and they do have, that please, before you bid, free of cost, we have set up a small head-end system, miniature head-end system. You come and put 10 meters at different locations randomly where we will tell you, and we will observe and see the performance over a period of 1 month. If the throughput is more than 95%, then only you will be allowed to bid. So these are the clauses one has to put in. Otherwise what will happen if you don't put these clauses in, they will all bid, then they will come and challenge you. That's why you have given me the order. I was L1.
Okay, sir. Now you can proceed to the next part.
Sure. I think we're halfway through, so
yes.
Now coming to standards, I just put some logos of some standards here. So there are n number of standard bodies each having n to the power n number of standards. And that too only in automation and smart grid. So there are thousands of standards. And you go mad. And people like us with 40-45 years experience go mad. You can imagine what the younger engineers are facing. Right? In fact, in many meetings with the Ministry of Power and various, there is a National Smart Grid Mission. I'm regularly talking to them. We are in a consultative mode. So we tell them that, it's very important now. Maybe full semester, I'm sure many of your colleges will be having it. Full semester courses on standards, on telecom for electrical engineers, electronics for electrical engineers. If these finance guys can take a 7-day course for us for finance for non-finance guys, then we ought to do it 10 times over for our own colleagues. So you have all these standards, and now comes to the funny part. Standards for the Gupta. CSIS was there, IEC is there, ITP is there, Senelec is there, NIST is there. In fact, I particularly like NIST very, very much. IQ is of course a guru, right? ISGF, no. Okay, now you come to the thing below the red line. Below the red line, now they are talking about a new breed of animals called alliances. So if you have standards, why do you require alliances? I'm sharing with my, technocrat colleagues in academics. You have Zigbee Alliance, you have 3G Alliance, CP Alliance, you have Wi-San Alliance. Let's take an example. What is Wi-San Alliance? Wi-San Alliance is an alliance who reportedly say that you buy smart meter from anybody conforming to so-and-so standard, etc., ELMS, hosting, EIS 1644, all that you do, then you come to us. And we will check for interoperability and give you a Wi-San certification. And then you can use it blindly. Now, if there are 100 manufacturers, maybe 30 have gone to Wi-San. 70 haven't. So what logic you tell these vendors that look, you are meeting IEC standards, you are meeting BIS standards, then why should I again get you, checked by Wi-San? So these are, frankly, there is dal mein kala hai. To ask it very, very frank. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are in these alliances who are working. They are tremendous, knowledgeable people. No doubt about it. I'm not denying that side at all. But whatever technical stuff is to be put in the alliance specifications, why can't they be put in the mother or the father specification? This is something which beats most of us who are in the industry. Coming to standards again, for practicing engineers, at least we hardly can spend 2% of our time on standards, 3% of our time. Still, till about 3 years back, it was a terribly messy affair. How to, we didn't even know which standard applied for what. But now, with the web and the URLs and everything available, things have become much easier. I just give a snapshot from the URL of, I forgot to put the URL name, of IC Smart Grid Standard, the roadmap. So it's such a, I'm sure all of you have seen it. So if you go there, you just click it, there are drop downs, and you can straight away go to your subject of interest and see the relevant standards. And then you go deeper, and then you can see the standards. Okay. So this is something which I think is so useful. It is fantastic. talked about the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST. NIST, as you all know, have the Smart Grid Framework Model 4, I think, which talks about all these various domains like generation, transmission. These are standard domains: generation, feeding, transmission, feeding, distribution, right? And now you have all this. Here you have this is working for the, you can see it, distribution resources. I can't see it because of this block. I think it's distribution what? Distributed resources, no? Can anyone tell me what's sitting there? Here. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is written here?
So distributed generation.
Correct. So this has been put into the network in the framework 4. And on top you have all the business processes which are not linked by power cables. Yes, they are linked by communication cables. So this includes operations like SCADA, EMS, GMS, demand response. I'll talk about demand response today. Yeah. Then you have got many outsourced services like CRM, billing. These are now more and more giving to outsourcing. Right? Then you have markets like aggregation, your trading, power banking. So these are basically management stuff. More on paper, doesn't require cables in that sense. Cables are only through this line here. But these are the guys who are managing the economics and the finance behind all this, right? And so it's a very nice model. This entire NIST model, I would say it's a very good model. So one more point I wanted to say on this. Yeah, and then among the markets and the service providers, you are having more and more. Daily you are having different changes coming, but they all fall within this. Let's give an example. You all know about the Electricity Act 2003, right? That is the base on which it all work. You have the regulatory commission, central, state, etc., etc. Then so far there have been some 3 or 4 amendments brought in to the Electricity Act. They were supposed to have been brought in, but they were never brought in. For example, one was separation of content and carriage. Right? So the wires would be separate, and so it has got its problems, it has got its advantages. You essentially do it from more competition. So you all know about it, I won't go into that. That's a separate topic by itself, but very interesting. But somehow that has gone into the back burner. The latest amendment for Electricity Act 2003 is called the Draft Amendment 2020. There it talks about, see, you had one, apart from the government bodies, you had private players like CSIS, Reliance, Tata's, and then you had franchisees. You have heard of franchisees? Distribution franchisees. There are some 15 odd franchises in India. And many came up, many went down, many didn't continue, many government again took back, because the franchisee documents were not very clear to everybody. Now the government has proposed something called a distribution sub-license. Essentially, it's a licensee through the back door. Okay, means you are basically granting the full power of a licensee, that you can buy from power from anywhere. You can put in as much capex as you want. You can enhance your reliability, and then you operate as per certain performance margins. So let's see what comes through. That's again a separate topic for discussion. So let's continue with the automation stuff. Similarly, we won't go into the details of this, but there is something called FAN, right? Field area network. Now, this field area network is, I would say, the bread and butter among automation standards for us utility engineers. It covers all the, apart from the web services, it covers metering in the application layer. So all the OSI layers are here. It covers metering, SCADA, okay. It covers, both TCP, TCP, of course, in the transport layer. Network layer is, now it's mostly IPv6 with almost unimaginable number of addresses. I think it's 128 bit. And then you look at these are very important. See the IEEE 802 standards are the braid of the bread and butter, the physical and data link layers. So whatever we do, whether it's Wi-Fi or Internet or narrowband, I was talking about narrowband IoT, PLC, G3, okay. You talk about your Zigbee, talk about Bluetooth, right? These are widely used now. And then here you have the cellular range, right? So these are all come under the first two layers. And most important, I think, to us security engineers is this 6LoWPAN. It is 6 means IP6, low means low power, PAN means personal area network. So essentially, your smart meters, okay, you can see the TLMS COSIM is the application layer. The TLMS COSIM that rides on top of 6LoWPAN, which in generic terms is called RF mesh. So having talked about telecom and standards, let's quickly come to the typical modern control center, what you would expect, because now you are combining so many things. You are combining, essentially you would have a control center, you would have a backup control center with a high-speed link, you have regional control centers. These are all optional. Some cities have it, some states have it, some countries have it, some countries have, some cities have, I've seen in many cities in abroad, 5 times this size of room. And then some people are doing with half this size of room. It all depends on how you manage. In London, for example, they have only 3 people sitting here. Only 3 people. One is the operations guy, one is the economics guy, one is the security guy. Finished. And everybody else sits on the galleries on top, separate rooms. They observe. They can't disturb these people because they are controlling entire London city. And if you go to US, some other cities, it's a mess, total mess. India, I think we are somewhere in between. And then you have the IT bus, information technology bus, and the OT bus, the operational technology bus. So everything you see on this side is the operational technology. And everything you see on this side is the information technology. And you have to combine them. That's why it's called IT-OT integration. Now if I come to IT, you have what standard IT or there is all the time. For example, CIS, Customer Information Services. You phone like in CSIS, you phone 1912, or you register a complaint, or you want to complain for a high bill. Then you have your asset management services. You want to trace the entire life cycle of an asset, whether it's a transformer or whether it's a RTU or it's cable. Then you've got hundreds literally of IT applications. Some on mobile, some on tabs, some on PCs. Okay, some for consumer facing. We can call them either they're consumer facing or they're facing the utility. Analytics has come in a big way. Okay, analytics is being really used extremely. BI, business intelligence, is coming in a big way. Not coming, they are established. All utilities now have departments for BI. So that brings me back to my original point. The BI guy has to know, he has to be a computer scientist. At the same time, he has to understand to get an answer. How can he do the BI? For what? So this is the dilemma. I think some of you asked about this question. Not only for automation, and more so for automation, the integration of multidisciplinary subject, I think, absolutely must for utilities. Then you have geographic information services, GIS, as you all know. You have SE, you have CJEC, and so many other companies which are making fantastic GIS. You can even use simple Google Map for GIS. It's so powerful. Then I'll come to EMS and ADMS, Energy Management System, and the advanced digital management system. Essentially, here you are using all the data you collect here. They are run periodically, say 4 times a day, 5 times a day, 6 times a day on EMS and TMS package. So you check online. You check online for things like power flow, load flow. Okay, that's very, very important. Because, the field engineer will try and all the time connect something, design how much the power at the line. Is it crossing the capacity of the breaker? Is it overloading the line? Is it overloading the transformer? Similarly, transient stability. Similarly, short circuit analysis. Now, we all have done this, in universities, in colleges, even in our work, offline. But now everything is available online. You work on actual data, you have all the big data tools, Hadoop and everything is there, and you can work online. And then you have outage management systems, which are so beautiful. Outage management systems, they track, it's getting Amphan, there are more than 1 lakh faults. So how do you track 1 lakh faults? How do you restore in 5 days? I happen to be in the US for some work, both during Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Katrina. And you believe me, I saw the mess. It took 20 days to restore. It was a bigger scale damage, no doubt. And here in 2 days, people wanted power. So this OMS helps a lot. If you go to some of the control rooms, you see the OMS massive screens, and they list all the outages as per time. They escalate to higher up if there is a delay. And more important and very important is the queue management system. So you can see the map here. This is just like what you see in an Ola or a Uber car. Okay, you see all your crew vehicles throughout the city. And if there is a flashing that some syllabus is burned, you send your nearest crew from the map here. Then there is dispatcher training. So all these plethora of IT activities come under the IT part. Now some are legacy, some are new. So again, the standards for interconnecting, how does OMS talk to through SCADA, the MDNS, the meter design. So who decides what are the protocols? So one standard method that the computer people know is using staging tables, right? But that's a bit slow. Slowly people are going in for more of, passenger-oriented middleware, enterprise service buses, okay, service-oriented architecture. I know nothing about this. I just know that this has to be done. We should see that it's working. Okay, now coming to the OT side. The operational technology side, you have the standard classical OTs, like you have the SCADA control center. So you have the RTUs, remote terminal units, which are placed in substations, which are placed in distribution stations. And they monitor and control the hundreds of gear and transformers out there. Right? As I told you, the protocol here is typically IC 104, and we have used fiber optic cables or APLs. Another OT is smart meters. Why it's OT? Because smart meters, you are actually doing some operation. You are disconnecting remotely. I'll come to that in the next few slides. Right? Electric vehicles, it's an operation. You are charging the vehicle. You can't have too many vehicles charging at the same time at one place. The transformer will be overloaded. Right? In Calcutta now, we have got more than 50 buses running. They have to be charged. Right? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Demand response. I'll come to demand response. Very, very important. And then this something which is our favorite, that is the entire renewables, whether it's solar, whether it's wind, okay, corresponding storage, battery storage, you have got mechanical storage, pump water storage. So these all come under the operational technology. And each of these will take a long time to really discuss. And you all are many years. But essentially, if you look at the architecture, we have a wide area network which is used to a fiber optic, okay, or microwave lines. We also have microwave lines which connect all these. And then you have a field area network which I talked about earlier, like RFNet, PLC, Zigbee, Wi-Fi, Zigbee. Field area network is for smart meters, storage, RES, and all these. So this essentially is a nutshell is what you are looking into. There's hundreds of standards and very interesting. This you can, when I send the presentation, you can go through. I just listed, or we've taken from some insight, some vendors listing. The major software which are used in ENS and ADS, like you can see power flow here. Okay, you can see economic load dispatch. You can see AGC, automatic generation control. ADC, automatic voltage control. Right? What I was talking about in self-healing, if you remember, was freezer, this one. Fault detection, isolation, and restoration, which is used for other automation. Right? OMS, that is output management, queue management. GIS, we talked about this, geographic information system. So you have all these packages which run on top of the SCADA. Similarly, when I talked about IT, I told you that today's IT, or not today, yesterday's IT was like this. Each application talking to this application, getting tables, to this, to that. It was like a spaghetti. Now the whole idea is everybody will put into the enterprise service bus. Okay. Again, there are very, very large companies and large vendors and 5 top vendors who are into this. Apparently there are some standards. I am not at all knowledgeable on this subject. But it makes it much more easier to plug and play the various IT apps. So these are typical control centers that you do some time back. See, what is important here is 2 things. With so much data, the human brain has not grown, no, data has grown. So how do these guys, how do these all these boys and girls, how do they grasp all this? Essentially, the computer has to do it for them. It has to bring out 2 things. One is, what is the situation? It must highlight that. Out of the thousands of data coming in, is there a Amphan coming? Is my transmission line getting snapped along a certain route? So the situation has to be grasped and made aware. And then the data has to be visualized. So we human beings understand analog much better than digital, right? Because we are all analog machines. So when you see a color or a curved line, it's much more easier to comprehend than numbers. So therefore the purpose here again is to try and visualize the data and show it in an easy format. I won't spend much time here. So I talked about situational awareness. It's called WASA, Wide Area Situational Awareness. And data visualization is very, very important. There are plenty of papers written on this. How do you visualize? How do you visualize that, okay, my, say I shouldn't add more plant and equipment here because my breaker rating is being crossed. How do I visualize that? That is there a network or rather a relay setting coordination problem in this feeder, in this line? This is very important. And one more thing, this is not in today's topic, is PMUs. I don't have experience on PMUs except just some academic interest, but you all must be handling it. And as you can see that you are basically transferring from model-based SCADA. SCADA is what? Essentially you are putting in all these line parameters, network parameters, the reactances, resistances, line lengths, cross-section areas. You are making a full model like in power flow, right? Then you run those various algorithms, then you run those various, what are they called? Numerical methods, Newton-Raphson or whatever it is. But it is different models. But today, with the ability of 2 things. One, very fast processing and measurements. You can directly measure sub-cycles. You can even measure at the rate of 48 samples per cycle. Can you imagine? This was unthinkable a few years back. And not only measure and communicate. With almost zero latency, with 5G and all coming up, this is going to be the new scanner. So PMU is the future. There is no thought about it. RTUs have an issue. RTU sometimes looks bigger than the actual station. You can see how the RTUs are put here. These are physical challenges. Some of you are asking, what are the challenges? Challenges, how to compress all this? Yes, if you ask me again, we had done it earlier in CSC, and I wish people would again do it again. Have distributed RTUs, on maybe RS-45, daisy chain. They are available in the market, but somehow the big vendors are not very happy with it. I talked about situational awareness and digitalization. In fact, there are some public sources where you can actually follow, particularly the North American system. Anybody can follow it. You can see, say, under TVC, Tennessee Valley Corporation, what exactly is happening. So now I change to my third last topic, metering. Shall I continue? It's okay? Or you want to stop?
Yes, sir, you can continue now.
Okay.
For another 10 minutes.
Okay, then what I'll do is I'll leave out demand response. I'll just finish with the metering and stop. Okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Because metering I think is more important. Demand response is equally important. We'll keep it aside right now. Drop of water. Metering I'll try and finish fast. See, metering essentially is now going through a sea change. We had the old electromechanical meters, this is the DISs. We had CT and PT operated meters for the higher wattages. Okay, most of them are on AMR. Then you have whole current static meters, which most of you have now in your houses. Right? So they are as per BIS 13779. And then you have like those who are living in Radharhat and some of the state road areas, they have prepaid meters. So this part is metrology, which is well understood. Big quantum change from electromechanical to static, the entire meaning has changed, the way it's measured is changed, but the electrical engineering part is same. So these are very well defined. So it's called the metrology part. Then you have smart meters. So I'll just come to the next slide. On the smart meter side, there are two aspects you have to remember. One is the use cases, and one is the protocol. Now, it's not only for smart meters. Starting from static meters onwards, smart meters. Earlier we used to say what? Say, Mr. So-and-so, Landison here, please give us meters which will measure active energy, reactive energy, time of day, okay, cumulative energy, instantaneous voltage, instantaneous currents. We used to say our big list, 20 big lists. Now everything is gone into what is called hobby schools. Right? I'm sure again I'm not repeating because you all know all this. Hobby is object identification system. I'll give you some examples here. Actually, it's a 5-dotted system. The first dot is actually, like if it's 1 point something, it means it's electricity meters. If it's 2 or something, I think it's water meters. Something is for gas meters. Then the second dot is for the communication media. Last 3 are important. For example, the blue phase instantaneous current. That is 71.7 dot. So when you say that there may be 100 manufacturers of meters, that your meter must show me 71.7.0 hobbies, it means there is no second thoughts about it. There will be no debate. What did so-and-so mean? It's very clear. Similarly, say the voltage across the R and Y phases, what you say, I forget this. I don't remember this, I forgot the topic. The cumulative energy is the code. Maximum demand is the code. Then reactive, if you have multi-quadrant meters, say signed reactive, it can be export or import reactive. 8.7.0. And then very important in India, you see there is something called DLMS COSEM, which again you are doing, device level message specification and the companion specification for energy metering. As I told you, this is true for both static meters onwards. So it's basically a codification system to tell the manufacturers what you want. Now, there's an IC for this 0.6 and the COSEM is normally country specific. So India has a COSEM called 15959. Okay. So the Indian COSEM is different from the COSEM in say in Europe or in US because I told you losses are very high. So we need to know that if somebody is tampering the meter. Has somebody opened the CV? Has somebody opened the hood? Has somebody taken out the some wire? So there are tamper tables. There are many tamper codes also. So the tamper part is very important for Indian CRS. Okay. So DLMS COSEM is the language. The code, obviously the code. The father parent thing is 62056. The child take is 15959. Skip this for shortage of time. You all know, like now people come to homes to meters, they take it on tabs. And for high-end meters, you take it on through meter data acquisition systems. Okay, for street lights, they are normally controlled. They are either on GSM or CRS. There is no question of timing here. It doesn't matter if it's switch on a street light, it comes on after 10 seconds. How does it matter? Okay. Now, smart meters are coming in the next slide. See, smart meters you have to understand, frankly, I'm sorry the way I'm talking. You all know about it, I'm just discussing and refreshing. Okay. See, the purpose of any meter is first of all is taking the meter reading and giving you the bill. That's all. Now the smart meter में क्या हो रहा है? Normally for a normal meter you go once a month and take the reading. For smart meter it pushes the reading by itself to the utility. So as a result, you can take very frequently. It all depends between the how much congestion you have in your line. So the typical standard is you take it every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, if somebody has a smart meter, the utility will get its reading, and it will plot on a graph like this. And this will be available to both the consumers also and to the utility also. Okay. Now, smart meters, there are many more further things. I'll come to the main one first. That when you take a reading, and you send it, this is called interval data. Why interval data? Because it's happening every 15 minutes, not monthly data. So with interval data, you have a lot of advantages. Suppose one interval data is wrong, you can actually, correct it. You can check for it, you can validate it. So there is a built-in VE engine, Indian Meter Data Management System. Validation, estimation, and editing engine. So suppose some, like what we do in college, out of graph some point comes, you pull it down again. Then the other features which are very important, put them in the correct perspective. The next important thing is remote disconnect and connect, the right connect here. Okay. Here what happens, nobody has, coming back here, no meter reader has to go to your home. So even if you have your house locked, you are going to work, doesn't matter. If you won't complain that you are not at home, you could take your reading, therefore average billing. No. The billing will go there, you can also see it. The remote connect disconnect means supposing you don't pay or you are leaving your house, you're giving up your meter. You tell the utility, they will remotely disconnect. You don't have to go to your house. These smart meters have a beautiful built-in, fantastic relay. Even there's hardly 1 square inch size, capable of switching 200 amperes even. Okay. The Indian standards ask for relays both on phase and neutral, because we are very careful. The European and US standards ask for only one relay on the phase. The next important thing is outage management. In priority that they ask us. There is something called the last gasp. What is last gasp? Suppose the meter in your house comes off, power goes, some line is snapped. You don't have to ring the utility anymore. The meter is dead. After it dies, there is a built-in super capacitor. With the charge available in the capacitor, it will send out its last burst saying I am dead. This is the last gasp. This last gasp will go to the outage management system in your utility, which I showed you earlier. In the OMS system, all the last gasps will be plotted on a CSIS. Then the ADMS software will take over. It will try to find out, going back, where is the common fusing point. Is it an outage only in that?
Please mute your microphone, participants, please.
Yeah. So, by looking at the number of meters which have gone out and the geographical dispersion, we can make out whether it's a cutoff fuse, or whether it's an upstream pillar box fuse, or whether it's a RMU which is stripped, or whether it is a circuit breaker in the substation. See, immediately your SCADA system and ADMS system, by using this last gasp data, will be able to guide the crew management system to go to the right place. Similarly, when the power comes back, you have something called the first breath. The meter sends a signal saying I am live. Okay? So these are the main things, and apart from that, you have many other use cases, like for example, theft response, usage, tampering. You know, you can make out, for example, in Kota we see that many people use meters at domestic tariff, but they were actually running tutorial homes, very large tutorial homes. So it is a commercial business. So they should have used commercial. So by looking at the pattern of usage, okay, one can make out through analytics whether it's a the tariff is for commercial or for domestic. Similarly, if you find errors in or differences in sudden outages or changes in patterns, you can phone the consumer and ask that have you left your home for a month? Or why is the consumption gone so high? Okay. You can do appliance control. I told you earlier about the home area network, Zigbee and ZBus. So you can actually, you can do it yourself. When you have a mobile phone, before leaving your office or your college, you can in winter turn on your geyser. Okay, to the smart meter. Your mobile through GPS will talk to the smart meter. Will talk to the utility. The utility will talk to the smart meter through RF mesh. The smart meter will talk to your geyser through hand, home area network, Zigbee or whatever it is. One last point I want to tell you here is very important. I found it very interesting. Many people don't discuss so much. So now you have heard about reliability indices, in utilities. What is the SIT? What is the SIT? Right? How many hours was the house out for next year? How many times did the power go off? So now you see, in utility, typically what happens? Maybe a district engineer of central district is given 100 crore budget that you spend this money for improving your network. So what does he do? He typically scratches his head. He has got some idea. So what are the weak points? And he calls all the linesmen, mistries, foremen and tells them, kya karna hai? Which site should be reinforced? Which cable requires more higher rating? But now you can do it by data. Because since you know how many times and for how long power has gone off in a house and in the entire street, you can calculate the SIT and SID at the house level, at the street level. And you have got data to back up your targets. So this is the overall slide I have explained all these earlier. You have the meters, the hand is done through degrees, dead wave. It's not popular in India yet, but the smart appliance manufacturers are pushing for this. In the US, home plug is used quite often. And then you have the network side. You can use the RF mesh like shown here. You can use GPRS. See, in India right now we have around 10 lakh meters which are commissioned. Not too many. Okay. We have 250 million meters in the country. The ministry is now working on a paper to take it out. We had a meeting in my think tank with the minister last week. They were looking like this. Smart meter is good, but then self-filling is more important now. Anyway, as I explained earlier, you have the option of power line carrier. Today, out of 10 lakh meters, hardly 3 lakhs are on PLC, are on RF mesh in private companies. They are much more reliable. See, if you do carpet metering is what? You do metering across the city in areas. Then RF mesh will work. But if you have 1 meter here, 1 meter there, then RF mesh is not the solution. Then you go for GPRS. But GPRS is not giving that quality service. So out of 10 lakh meters, people are not very happy. So now it's a question of, do you go for large investment, do you go for carpet, rollout of smart meters, or do you go for, like the Ministry of Power is saying, people who are having power consumption of more than 1,000 units per month, put smart meters there. So how many people are there? 1 here, 1 kilometer away. There you can't use RF mesh. Not going to cost this thing. Okay, then after you buy the meters, each set of meters, say from Genus, LNG, Secure, whatever it is, they have got their own head-end system. They talk through that PNMS COSEM. They use those codes, but the protocol is proprietary. And then the most important thing is the meter data management system. Usually you will have one of these. So the MDMS will have all the use cases and the VE which I talked about on my previous slide. This is the actual cream which the utility gets. Right. So these are some examples of RF mesh. So I'll not go for demand response. I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful lecture. We all heard about how you shared your knowledge. It's a vast knowledge, sir. I'm older to experience that particular knowledge. So right now, without further ado, I will request Dr. Shubha Mukherjee, Professor, Department of Electrical Engineering, also our coordinator of our FDP, to please felicitate today's speaker, Mr. Debasis Gupta.
Thank you, Arithro. I am audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, our Debasis sir, really for this nice presentation. We have got very lucid explanation regarding isolator, circuit breaker, relay, isolation of fault detection from main circuit, basically fault detection, isolation, restoration, smart meter, which is very useful for our domestic purpose. As well, lecture is not only helpful for our faculties but also very helpful, I think, for our students. Really, we are honored to have such an experienced speaker like you. We are enriched by your relevant topics, sir. In this pandemic situation, as we are in virtual platform, we want to share a token of appreciation. I am requesting our very own Susmita Dey, Assistant Professor of our department, to share the certificate of appreciation for our honorable speaker. Susmita, please share the certificate, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you all of you.
Sir, and now we are at the end of our today's session. First of all, thanks to our speaker. Thank you on behalf of our organizing committee. Thanks to our principal and Professor Dr. Shubha Mukherjee. Thanks to our respected Dean Sir, Professor B.N. Chatterjee. Thanks our convener, she is our HOD, Dr. Mundita Sannal. Thanks our all colleagues. Thanks to all our participants for their active participation. Thank you all. Stay safe. will meet tomorrow again from 10:45 a.m. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you all. Our tomorrow's session will start from 10:40. Join 10:40 to avoid any bottleneck problem. So you have to join within 10:40. Okay. So that's the end of our session.